What is up, everybody? So Cheesy here. Just wanted to give you a quick review on the SCUF Infinity Pro 4 gaming controller. This is something I looked into for a while now. Did reviews, looked at YouTube, talked to people within the gaming community, friends, whoever, just to see their opinions, if they had it, what their ideas were on it. And I decided to finally get one. Now, I'm a pretty cheap person, and so that's kind of why I looked into it for a while. They start off at about 140 on the low end for that one. But thankfully, my best friend decided to come through for my birthday and purchase one for me. He knew how much I gamed and thought he'd treat me to it, so I appreciate that. Shout out to Diablo Blanco, whatever his TikTok name is, probably add it anyway. Thank you to my very, very few followers. Hopefully I can sway your opinion on this purchase or, steer you in the right direction. But hopefully you make the right choice. So first impressions with this controller is the design aspect of it. SCUF gives you many options when it comes to designing your controller in the style that you want. I went with the digital look. I think that's digital or honeycomb, whatever you want to call it. And the gold buttons. I wish they would have allowed you to change the triggers to whatever color you want. I think they only give you a few options for that. But anyway, overall, the design was awesome. I know a lot of other controller companies don't give you that many options, and that's one thing that steered me towards SCUF. For Xbox controllers, you don't get as many options, but for PlayStation, they have an abundance of them. So A+ on that for SCUF, giving you options. For the features that I chose, one of the most important ones was the trigger. I ended up going with the digital triggers, and it's something I really looked forward into using for first-person shooters. However, they're not as responsive as I would have hoped. Overall, not too bad. They are better than the basic trigger system on PlayStation controllers. I really should have done my research a little bit more because I wanted the adjustable triggers, which are more off the standard PlayStation controllers with the spring-loaded triggers, not the digitals. So overall, the trigger system's pretty good. They also offer options for the bumpers to be digital as well. I did not get those based off the games I play, just the basic ones. Another cool feature I thought I was going to like with this controller is the paddles, which, as you can see, I've taken them off and I don't use them anymore. The reason being is that with them on, with my long fingers, I was hitting the buttons all the time, and it was very frustrating. So I took them off. They weren't that easy to take off, but they weren't that hard. Just had to figure it out. Once you did, you can put them back on pretty quickly. As you can see, they have little buttons down at the bottom. And once you take your paddles off, you sometimes hit those, but it's not a huge deal. So that's something I wish I wouldn't have done. I know some people actually really like them, especially with Call of Duty and being able to switch up their button layout. For me, I did not enjoy them at all. These are the actual paddles. They just clip on to the back of the controller. Real simple to put them back on once you figure it out. I will maybe give them a shot later. Something that I think I'll do once I actually program the controller. They give you a little key that goes on the back, and you can actually adjust some settings within your controller that I have not gone into and probably should. The box that it comes in is just standard box with a few little items in it. It's got instruction manuals on how to program your controller with the key. They also give you a tool to change out your thumbsticks, which is featured right there, which also goes with the design because you can take these little rings off and change those. If you want to buy some new ones, you can change those, or you can get different thumbsticks, which I ended up getting just the basic concave ones, the standard height that PlayStation controllers come with. I didn't think I needed anything special, and I still don't think I need anything special for that. So a few options there. I will say one of my biggest annoyances with this controller, besides the paddles for my long ass fingers, is the fact that you can't use a charging dock for it. And I have not really figured out why, but I use it religiously with my other two controllers because, you know, when something dies, you want to be able to quickly switch over to a controller that's fully charged. I haven't really noticed a huge difference with the shell. This is my original one, which is still decent condition, which is also actually lighter than the SCUF slightly. I don't know if the shell is a little bit wider or what the case is, but it does not work for my charging station, and I have to use a cable for it, so that is very annoying, and maybe one day they'll fix that as well. I pretty much got what you could get when it comes to customizing your controller. One of the biggest features that I wanted was the triggers, which I ended up purchasing the ones that I didn't necessarily want. It was kind of my second choice, but they are okay. They're better than standard PlayStation controller. The paddles, I don't think I would ever recommend those unless you are really into customizing your controller and you have tiny baby hands that don't press them all the time. The design is great. The feel of the controller, honestly, is the feel of any PlayStation controller. I didn't get the fancy grip pads. I didn't think that was necessarily something that was needed. Honestly, I don't know if I would buy another one, especially based off the price. It was over $200 for this controller. A lot of people have said that they don't last. I know I still have my original PlayStation 4 controller from when I bought my PlayStation, and I've thrown it, tossed it, whatever. I've also cleaned it and taken care of it in other aspects, but I don't like the fact that they also have a back order out the ass, and it took about 2 months, if not longer, to come. I did get free shipping because I complained to them. I know a lot of other people in comments on videos have talked about the shipping time, and they weren't really happy about that. So maybe one of these days they'll figure it out. But overall, I'd probably give it a solid B. And that's probably mostly because I love this design. This is something that I've kind of stuck with and I thought about for a while when it came to color scheme. But, you know, everybody has their opinion, and my opinion is all that matters to me. So hopefully, you know, you can take this and run with it. If not, that's fine too. But that's the SCUF Infinity Pro 4 gaming controller for the PS4.